Some of the biggest heavy metal legends destroyed their own faces trying to stay young, and it broke their souls. The tragic stories of 15 metal icons who destroyed their looks with plastic surgery and regret it show how the scars that made them legends were smoothed away into silence. Let us take you to the moment when rock gods stopped aging like warriors and started vanishing behind plastic masks. 1. Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne thought he could outsmart time. For a moment, he believed a little nip here and a tuck there would fix everything. He got a facelift. He got a nose job. He laughed about it on TV. But behind the jokes, there was something sad. Ozzy wasn't supposed to look polished. He was supposed to look like chaos itself. The surgery didn't just smooth out his skin, it smoothed out the wildness, the danger, the magic, the scars that showed he'd lived through fire and madness. He said it himself. He felt stupid for trying to fight aging, for trying to look younger instead of owning the years that had nearly broken him. The Prince of Darkness wasn't supposed to glow under studio lights. He was supposed to haunt them. Ozzy's image wasn't about beauty. It was about survival, about crawling out of the grave more times than anyone could count. When he cut into his face, he didn't just lose wrinkles. He lost the story they told. Every line had a tale of bat bites, blackouts, prison cells, and broken stars. Now they are gone, wiped clean, sanitized. Fans noticed. They felt it. The man who made music sound like a curse had suddenly softened. Not his voice, not his spirit, but his face. It didn't match the voice anymore, or the legend. And in interviews, the regret leaked out in his words, his laugh, even his silence. Ozzy survived overdoses, accidents, even reality TV, but he couldn't survive the pressure to stay young in a world that worships it, so he gave in. And when he looked in the mirror, he didn't see the godfather of metal. He saw a man trying to chase shadows, trying to look like the man he once was, instead of honoring the warrior he had become. Time didn't beat Ozzy with substances or disease, it beat him with a scalpel. And even he knew it. 2. Axl Rose. Axl Rose didn't fade. He transformed, like a wild creature forced into a cage of plastic and pressure. Once, he was a snarling flame, unpredictable and beautiful in all the wrong ways. He had a face that screamed rebellion, sharp cheekbones, narrow eyes, the kind of smirk that looked like it knew a secret you didn't want to hear. Then, almost overnight, that face changed. No official announcement, no press release, just a new version of Axl. Fuller cheeks, smoother skin, frozen expressions, like someone had pressed pause on his face while the rest of the world kept moving. Fans didn't need confirmation, they saw it. Botox, fillers, possibly lifts, it was all there, written across the mask he now wore. And that's what it became, a mask. The voice still had fire, the song still roared, but the man on stage didn't look like the one who used to leap off monitors and spit venom into microphones. He looked like a memory caught in plastic, a digital filter made real. Those close to him whispered that Axl hated it, that behind closed doors he missed the rawness, the grit, the wild-eyed stare that used to scare and seduce, that he would glance at old photos and feel the weight of 1,000 wrong choices tighten across his brow. Axl never spoke directly about the changes, but he didn't have to. You could hear it in the way fans talked about him, the way even praise came with a pause. He sounds good, but he doesn't look like himself. That pause was loaded with sadness, with nostalgia, with disappointment. The world watched a rebel become a reflection. Not a man shaped by time, but a man fighting it and losing. Because no matter how smooth the skin, no matter how tight the lift, regret shows through. Especially when you used to wear your rage like a crown. Axl didn't just change his face. He blurred his legend. And no surgery can fix that. 3. Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler was never meant to look neat. His whole vibe was chaos in eyeliner. His face told stories even before he opened his mouth. Deep creases, wild eyes, a smile that looked like it knew how to break rules and get away with it. He was the perfect mix of beauty and damage, and fans loved him for it. But time kept ticking. The spotlight doesn't forgive. And somewhere in the pressure, Steven gave in slowly, carefully. Fillers in his cheeks, Botox in the forehead, maybe even a lift. His lips grew plumper, his skin tighter. The mess that made him magnetic started to look tidy. Too tidy. He didn't go full wax figure, but the edge dulled. That ragged, soulful look started to smooth out. He still wore the scarves, the shades, the open shirts and wild patterns, but the face behind all that? It wasn't the same. Oh, it wasn't bad. It was just wrong. Friends said he hated the reflection, that he missed the wrinkles, the stories in the lines, the face that matched the rasp in his voice. Now, when he smiled, the skin pulled too tight. The fire was still in his eyes, but buried under a layer of fear, the fear of disappearing. Steven Tyler was the kind of frontman who aged with attitude, but when he tried to look younger, it wasn't an attitude anymore. It was armor. Fans felt it, that disconnect, that sadness. He didn't need to change a thing, but the world made him feel like he did. What hurt most? It wasn't the loss of looks. It was the loss of truth. That face, once full of wild stories and midnight rage, now looked edited, safe, less real. And for someone who lived loud and sang louder, being muted by his own reflection was the deepest cut of all. He started to reclaim it, though, slowly, letting the lines come back, letting the mask slip. Because Steven Tyler was never about looking pretty. He was about bleeding honesty. And the more he accepted the scars, the more the fire in his voice came roaring back. 4. Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons always loved masks. His entire persona was built on one. The demon, the makeup, the tongue, the fire-breathing, blood-spitting monster that terrified and thrilled millions. But behind the grease paint, Gene had a real face, a human face. And when age crept in, he didn't want the world to see it, so he tried to stop it. Eyelid surgery, skin tightening, small procedures that slowly chipped away at the man underneath. It didn't happen all at once, but over the years, the changes stacked up. His eyes stopped looking tired. His skin looked too smooth. His features didn't move the way they used to. He joked about it in interviews, shrugged it off, made it sound like no big deal. But underneath the jokes, there was something else. In a later interview, Gene admitted it. He wished he had left his face alone, that maybe growing old like a king was better than clinging to a throne made of Botox and insecurity. The irony? Gene built a career wearing fake faces. But when he tried to fix the real one, it felt like betrayal. The demon never needed a smooth face to be terrifying. He needed truth, rage, power, and all those things were already there, aging or not. Fans saw the difference, not just in his look, but in his energy. Something felt distant, removed. The man who once seemed 10 feet tall now felt smaller, like he was hiding behind the very image he once mocked. Simmons didn't disappear. He still played, still shouted, still demanded attention. But the magic wasn't the same, because when you hide from age, you hide from honesty. And rock was never about perfection. It was about real, raw, loud truth. And the truth is, Gene didn't need surgery. He needed to trust the legend he already was. But sometimes, even legends get scared of the mirror. And when they do, they learn the hardest truth of all. You can't retouch rebellion. You have to wear it. Every line, every scar, every brutal, beautiful wrinkle. 5. David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth didn't age quietly. He fought it, with laughter, with bravado, with a surgeon's help. The face that once launched 1,000 party anthems was slowly reshaped. Lifts, Botox, heavy smoothing. His trademark grin turned stiff. His eyebrows arched a little too high. His skin shined under stage lights in ways it never used to. Fans noticed. They winced. Because David wasn't supposed to look clean-cut. He was supposed to look like chaos in leather pants. But the mirror got to him, and what looked like confidence turned into camouflage. A mask wrapped tight. The surgeries didn't take away his voice. They didn't erase the history, but they did erase something else. Familiarity. That sparkle of mischief, that don't care smirk. He started to look more like a wax statue built from old photos than the wild child who once danced barefoot on stage. People around him said he regretted it, quietly, privately. That even he, in moments alone, missed the lines on his face, missed the man who wore every wrinkle like a badge. Because those weren't just marks of time, they were proof. Proof that he'd lived, roared, loved, fought, and bled for rock and roll. Now the proof is gone, scraped, tightened, hidden. David never admitted it publicly, but his silence was loud. In interviews, he talked in circles, joked more than usual, smiled less. There was something behind his eyes, something tired, something that I knew. Youth isn't something you win back. It's something you honor. And in trying to hold on to it, he'd let go of a part of himself. That's the thing with surgery. You might think you're just fixing the outside, but sometimes you're burying the soul. David Lee Roth wasn't just a frontman. He was an icon, a storm, and the world didn't want him pretty. They wanted him for real, but real life got carved away, one cut at a time. 6. Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee was never boring, never quiet. He lived like his drum solos, loud, fast, and wild. Tattoos on his chest, eyeliner under his eyes, and chaos in his smile. He didn't age in silence. He screamed through it. But even the most reckless spirits eventually hear the ticking clock. And when Tommy looked in the mirror, the cracks started to show. The man who once oozed danger began to change. Slowly, then obviously. His jawline looked sharper. His skin got smoother. His eyebrows lifted. People whispered. Then they pointed. Botox, fillers, maybe more. He never confirmed it, but he didn't deny it either. His face, once carved by years of madness, started looking like it belonged to someone else. Tommy always prided himself on being real, on being raw. But suddenly the rebellion had edges that looked sculpted instead of earned. Friends noticed. Fans noticed. Something in his expression didn't match the fire in his voice or the madness in his stage presence. He still played hard, still smiled big, but that smile didn't quite move like it used to. People close to him said he hated the change, that he missed the man with the lines, the wear, the stories etched into every crease. They said he felt disconnected from his reflection. Like he was trying to find the wild kid from the Sunset Strip, but all he could see was a polished version with a frozen grin. That's the dark side of trying to stay young forever. You lose track of who you really are. The mirror becomes a stranger. The photos become reminders of what used to be. And every time he saw fans staring just a little too long at his face, he knew they saw it too. Tommy Lee wasn't meant to be airbrushed. He was meant to be scars, sweat, and sound. But the knife didn't just change his skin, it dulled the legend underneath. And somewhere deep down, Tommy knew that too. Vince Neil. Vince Neil didn't just sing about excess. He lived it. Women, whiskey, wild nights. He was the voice of glam metal's wildest band, Motley Crue, and the face of the party that never stopped. But time doesn't care how loud you scream. It shows up anyway. And when it did, Vince fought back the only way he knew how, with surgery. He went under the knife, more than once. Liposuction, eyelid work, facial tightening. It was all there, captured on reality TV, documented in brutal HD, and spread across the internet. The golden boy of the strip was slowly turning into a man trapped behind a mirror he didn't recognize. The charm was still there, but the face? It looked edited. Vince was never supposed to look perfect. His appeal was in the roughness, the rawness. The guy who looked like he woke up on someone else's floor and still made it to the stage. But plastic surgery erased some of that grit. His skin got tighter, His eyes looked wider. His whole face felt like it was holding its breath. Fans noticed. The internet roasted. Memes popped up. Critics had a field day. But behind all the noise, there was a man quietly hurting. He admitted later in interviews that trying to look young again only made him feel older. That no amount of stretching or cutting could turn back time. All it did was amplify the loss. And the cruelest part? The more he tried to fix his image, the more it slipped away. His voice, once sharp and dangerous, got rougher. His body slowed down. The surgery couldn't stop any of that. All it did was wrap his pain in a prettier box, a mask. Vince Neil didn't just fight aging, he lost himself in the fight. And the man who once ruled the world from a stage now struggles to find the face that built it all in the first place. 8. Nikki Sixx. Nikki Sixx was always the dangerous one. The shadow in the back, the blood on the base, the guy who lived through death more than once. He was fire and fury in leather pants, a survivor of overdoses, heart attacks, and self-destruction. But even he couldn't survive the weight of image. Not forever. As the years passed, his look started to shift. His face got tighter, smoother. His cheeks rose. His forehead stopped moving. Fans began whispering, Botox, maybe some fillers, possibly a lift. He never admitted it, never had to. The changes were there, slow but steady. The rebel face became polished, almost too clean for a man whose life had been anything but. Nikki once spoke out against Hollywood's obsession with youth, called it fake, empty. But behind those words, some fans saw contradictions. He was chasing youth too, just quietly. The guy who once looked like he'd been dragged through hell and laughed about it now looked filtered, retouched, a little too perfect. It wasn't about vanity, some said. It was about fear. Fear of becoming invisible, of watching the industry move on, of being remembered as was instead of is. And so he tweaked and tuned, little by little, hoping to keep the legend alive, not realizing that the legend was in the scars. Friends say he regrets it now, that the mirror doesn't show Nikki Sixx. It shows a version of him that forgot to age, a version that doesn't reflect the pain, the victories, the blood he spilled on tour buses and hotel floors. The soul got blurred under the surface. Nikki wasn't supposed to age gracefully. He was supposed to age loudly, proudly, with every wrinkle a badge. But the surgeries softened that scream. And for someone who turned pain into power, losing that edge may have been his quietest tragedy yet. Even the eyeliner couldn't distract from what was missing, the war paint beneath. And when your whole legacy is carved in scars, smoothing them away doesn't make you stronger. It makes you disappear. 9. Bret Michaels. Bret Michaels wasn't just the front man of Poison. He was the golden boy of glam metal. Bandana, eyeliner, ripped jeans, and that all-American smile. He looked like he'd been airbrushed straight out of a rock magazine. But even golden boys get older. And Bret, like so many others, wasn't ready for what the mirror had to say. Fans started noticing. The face didn't move the same. The skin looked tighter, especially around the mouth and eyes. Subtle at first, then more obvious. He never confirmed it directly, but the signs were there. Botox, minor lifts, possibly some fillers. That youthful glow didn't come from lighting alone. Those close to him said Bret felt trapped. He built a career on charisma, appeal, and rebellion. And the pressure to maintain that image didn't fade with time. It got heavier. Every wrinkle was a threat. Every gray hair a crack in the illusion. So he tried to hold it all together with surgery. It wasn't just about looking good, it was about survival, staying relevant, holding on to the audience that once screamed his name. But in that chase, something slipped. The face that once smiled with reckless charm started to look forced, held in place, artificial. Bret joked about it in interviews, shrugged it off like a guy who'd been through worse. And he had. Diabetes, brain hemorrhages, near-death experiences. But fans could tell the surgery stung in a different way. Not physically, but emotionally. Because when your face is your brand, losing its truth feels like losing yourself. And that's the heartbreak. Bret Michaels wasn't supposed to age like a TV actor. He was supposed to age like a rock star, loud, rough, real. But somewhere along the way, the leather and smoke got traded for scalpel lines and silence. And no surgery can bring back that kind of fire. 10. Dee Snider. Dee Snider was a walking explosion. Twisted Sisters snarl. Big hair, bigger voice. A rebel in drag who stared down Congress and won. His whole existence was a challenge to conformity. So when he started smoothing the rough edges with plastic surgery, people couldn't help but feel something sacred had been lost. The changes weren't extreme, not at first. Subtle adjustments, tighter skin, a forehead that didn't crease, wrinkles that used to dance with every scream suddenly vanished. Fans blinked. Something was off. Dee's face didn't match his energy anymore. It looked paused, like someone had turned the volume down on his rage. He didn't hide it. Dee spoke openly about procedures, said he tried to freshen up, stay sharp, keep up. But later he admitted it felt wrong, that the punk in him hated the polished look, that the wrinkles were supposed to be there. They were part of the battle armor. The irony? Dee never cared what people thought. He built his whole career on flipping off the status quo. But even rebels bleed under pressure. The industry whispers, the cameras magnify, the fans remember you a certain way and don't want you to change. And so he tried to cheat time with a needle, a lift, a smile that didn't quite move right. In interviews, he owned the regret, called aging a badge of honor, said hiding from it felt like betrayal. Because the face that stood on stages and screamed against censorship deserved to grow old. Loudly. Honestly. Dee Snider's voice didn't change. His heart didn't soften. But the surgeries blurred the edges of the man who once taught kids everywhere that being ugly, wild, and loud was beautiful. He came back to himself eventually. Let the lines return. The fire never left his eyes, but for a while, the mirror didn't recognize him. And that's the part that hurts most. Not that he changed, but for a moment, he believed the world when it told him he needed to. 11. Paul Stanley. Paul Stanley didn't just sing, he commanded. As Kiss's star child, he painted his face into legend, the star over his eye, the wild hair, the bare chest, and platform boots. But when the makeup came off and time came knocking, Paul looked in the mirror and didn't like what he saw. So he changed it. Facelifts, jawline work, tightening. A face once full of mischief and fury now looked still, pulled. He admitted to some of it, even joked about it, but deep down there was regret. The kind that doesn't leave visible scars, but leaves you hollow. Stanley wasn't just a rock star, he was an icon. His face had moved millions, whether snarling under makeup or smiling at fans, but the surgeries made it harder to connect. He started looking less like himself and more like a Hollywood version of himself, controlled, symmetrical, careful, and Paul Stanley was never careful. The worst part? He didn't need it. His voice still hit hard. His presence still lit up arenas. But in trying to match the image of his younger self, he lost part of the edge that made fans believe in him. The rawness, the honesty, the battle lines. People close to him say he struggled, that he looked at old photos and felt a twist inside, that he tried to freeze time, only to find it slipping through his fingers even faster. That every smile felt tighter, every glance at the crowd a reminder of who he used to be. Paul once wore a star on his face and it made him a god. But no surgery could preserve that kind of magic, because the magic wasn't in smooth skin, it was in sweat, imperfection, and truth. And when you peel off the makeup and lift the skin, all that's left is a man trying not to vanish. In the end, Stanley's regret wasn't about what the world saw. It was about what he lost trying to please it. And that's a wound no scalpel can fix. 12. Klaus Meine. Klaus Meine had a voice made of silk and steel. The frontman of the Scorpions didn't need wild outfits or explosions, just his voice and his eyes. Eyes that told a story. A face that wore years of touring, thousands of stages, and all the weight that came with it. But then, one day, that face started to change. It began quietly. Tighter skin, a smoother forehead, fewer lines around the eyes. Fans noticed, but no one said much. After all, Klaus wasn't known for being flashy. He always carried himself with grace. But that grace began to feel a little too polished. His face, once lined with emotion, now looked oddly still. Rumors spread, eyelid surgery, minor lifts, Botox. Nothing extreme, but enough to raise eyebrows, or rather, to freeze them. Klaus didn't deny the changes, but he never embraced them either. In interviews, he gave subtle hints. He talked about little mistakes, about disconnecting from the road-worn honesty. The man who once sang about winds of change had quietly tried to stop the wind altogether. And that's where the regret lived. Not in the surgery itself, but in what it erased. Fans didn't love Klaus for being perfect. They loved him for being real, for standing on stage, exposed, vulnerable, his voice trembling with truth. But the surgeries put a wall between that truth and his expression, a slight barrier, a small but powerful distance. Close friends said he struggled with it, that the decision to look younger came from fear, not vanity. Fear of fading, of becoming invisible in a world obsessed with freshness. And that fear, for a time, won. Until Klaus realized the face he was hiding was the one that made people feel. He never became unrecognizable. He never went too far. But even small changes carry big consequences. Klaus Meine learned that when you sing with your soul, your face needs to match. Every crease, every shadow, every sign of age, they're not flaws, they're notes in the song, and he almost erased them all. 13. Sebastian Bach. Sebastian Bach wasn't just a singer. He was a poster on 1,000,000 bedroom walls. Wild hair, piercing blue eyes, a jawline sharp enough to cut glass. He was the beautiful chaos of glam metal, swaggering onto every stage like he owned the sky. But beauty doesn't make deals with time. And when it started slipping away, Sebastian tried to hold on with both hands. The change came slow, then fast. His once boyish face got tighter. The skin around his eyes lost its wild creases. His forehead stayed smooth even when he screamed into the mic. Rumors flew, Botox, fillers, minor lifts. He laughed about it in interviews, cracked jokes about keeping up appearances. But the laughter always sounded just a little forced. Bach didn't need perfection. His messy, reckless charm was what fans loved. Every scar, every line, every unpolished grin. But the surgeries sanded down the rough edges, made him look cleaner, safer, less dangerous. And that took something away. Close friends say he regretted it almost immediately. That he missed the raw, untamed kid who looked like he could break your heart and steal your car in the same night. That every time he looked in the mirror, he saw a version of himself that wasn't fully alive. It's not that Sebastian Bach became unrecognizable. It's that he became too recognizable, as someone chasing the ghost of his own legend, trying to trap lightning in a bottle when it was meant to run wild. Fans still loved him, still sang every word, but some part of the danger, the unpredictability, the realness, faded. And no matter how high the notes soared, the face on stage didn't carry the same electric chaos. Sebastian Bach wasn't meant to be airbrushed. He was meant to burn, crack, and shine all at once. And even he knew it, deep down. The beauty that made him a god couldn't be saved by surgery. It lived in the flaws he tried to erase. 14. Don Dokken. Don Dokken was never the wildest-looking guy in metal. He didn't wear makeup or cover himself in tattoos. His rebellion was quieter, a voice full of heartbreak, songs dripping with longing. But even he couldn't dodge the weight of time. And when the years showed up in the mirror, Don made a choice he would later come to regret. Fans first noticed it at meet and greets. The skin on his face looked different, tighter. His smile didn't quite reach his eyes anymore. The signature ruggedness that once made him relatable started to disappear. Whispers began. Facelifts, Botox, minor work, but enough to smooth out the lines that once told 1,000 stories. Don didn't deny it. In interviews, he spoke about trying to maintain his look, trying to feel better about himself. But the words always carried a heavy sigh, like he knew he'd traded something real for something fragile, that he'd lost a piece of the man who wrote songs like Alone Again and In My Dreams, songs that didn't come from perfection, but from pain. Those close to him said the regret ran deep. When Don looked in the mirror, he saw a stranger. That the battle scars he once wore proudly, the creases, the tired eyes, the weathered smile, had been erased in a few hours under bright surgical lights. Fans felt it too, not because they stopped loving him, but because something was missing. A rawness, an honesty that no smooth forehead could replicate. The man who once poured sadness into every lyric now looked oddly untouched by it, and that disconnect hurt more than any aging line ever could. Don Dokken didn't need to look young to stay powerful. He needed to look real. Every wrinkle was a song. Every shadow under his eyes was a memory. And trying to erase them only erased part of what made him matter in the first place. 15. Tom Kiefer. Tom Kiefer was the voice of Cinderella, the raw, gritty scream that felt like broken glass wrapped in velvet. He wasn't just a singer, he was a survivor. Years of vocal cord surgeries, brutal tours, and battles with sickness had left him scarred but proud. His voice carried the weight of every fight, and so did his face, until it didn't. Fans noticed it over time, subtle changes. His skin looked too smooth, too even. The familiar, tired but triumphant look in his eyes started to vanish. There were whispers of minor lifts, Botox, smoothing treatments. Nothing extreme, nothing grotesque, but enough to take away the lines that once told stories louder than any lyric. Tom had survived everything, fame, illness, heartbreak, but he couldn't survive the pressure to look ready every time he stepped on stage. Behind the scenes, friends said he struggled with it, that he missed the reflection that looked like a fighter, that every wrinkle lost felt like erasing a battle he had already won. He never came out and confessed it publicly. Tom's always been private like that. But you didn't need an interview to see the regret. It was in the way he sometimes smiled more carefully, like his skin might crack. In the way his wild, soulful performances now carried a shadow, a man still singing from his heart, but wearing a face that wasn't completely his own. Cinderella's songs were about survival, about pain, resilience, and fighting your way through the storm. Tom's voice still told those stories. But the face behind the mic started to look too clean for all the scars it was supposed to carry. And that's the quiet tragedy. Tom Kiefer didn't need perfect skin to be legendary. His wrinkles were medals. His tired eyes were trophies. Every cut, every crease, every shadow was proof that he had lived and fought and refused to fall. When you erase the battles from your skin, you risk erasing them from your soul. And even Tom, the fighter, learned that the hard way.